So we have a new product that we're able to offer that I wanted to make sure you knew about. Some of you may have been on the webinar that we had last week, but just in case you weren't, wanted to review what it is and how it's helping. We've partnered with a company called Flyhomes, and what that allows us to do is help remove these home sale contingencies for your clients. Now, many of you are probably familiar with a bridge loan, where a bridge loan is moving equity over from the home that they need to sell. And that lender is taking over that home mortgage essentially, and they have usually 6 months or less, depending on the product, to sell it. The issue with those, though, is that you usually have two payments. You have the payment on the new home that they're purchasing, and then you have this bridge payment. And that's an interest-only payment, but it's at a higher interest rate, and it can be high. So bridge loans traditionally only work with people who have a ton of equity and a ton of income. So I've had plenty of clients that we would have loved to have used a bridge loan for, but they just can't handle both payments. Flyhomes is different than a bridge loan in that they are putting an offer in on the home to purchase it, just like they were a buyer. So that home now has an offer in on it that we can show to an underwriter. And technically, if that home does not sell in the future, they will take over the home. So we had a program similar to this in the past called Ribbon, but Ribbon immediately took the home and you were essentially renting it from them. Flyhomes does not want to buy the home. They have no intentions of wanting to buy the home. What they're doing though is they're putting in an offer, so that way we can say on our side, hey, they've already got an offer in place, and we can remove the home sale contingency on our side because we no longer have to count the property they're leaving in their debt to income ratio, which helps them qualify for the new home without the contingency. And then again, Flyhomes is putting in an offer on their home for them. If for some reason they do not sell the home within 6 months of after they close on the new home, Flyhomes will have to take over that home, put it on the market, and sell it. When they do this process, if there is any extra money that is made, they do still give it to the buyer. If not, then the buyer doesn't make any money off selling their home, which they technically probably wouldn't have anyway, especially if it took them that long to sell. But this is a really great solution because now I don't have to count their property that they're leaving against them, but they also don't have a payment during this period. They don't have this extreme bridge payment that it's now difficult to qualify them on with two payments. So they are still technically making both payments. They got to keep that in mind. Again, it is like they have an offer in on the home and that home is selling after they close on the new one. They would still have to make their payments until it sells. However, again, they don't have an extra larger bridge payment. Now, one of the bigger differences, though, between the bridge payment and bridge loans and what Flyhomes is doing is with that bridge loan, again, we're pulling equity, we're moving it over. We're essentially front loading them their equity ahead of time, which we do still have those traditional bridge products. Flyhomes is not giving them their equity up front. They're just putting an offer in on their home. So this does not work for people who we needed all of those proceeds in order to qualify. This is for people who already have access to 401k, IRAs, money to be able to put their down payment and closing costs down, and then they may replenish those accounts once they sell their home. Now, Flyhomes does have alternate options where they can front load equity out of a home, similar to a HELOC to sell, which most HELOC companies will not give you a HELOC to pull out your equity if they know you're going to turn around and sell it because they're not going to make any money. We do have one HELOC provider that will, but they're usually at very high interest rates. So Flyhomes does have the option to move the equity over first if you need to, and that way you have your down payment. They sometimes can combine the two, or they're putting in an offer and moving equity over. That individual has to have a lot of equity in the home. I mean, a lot of equity. So that may not always work for buyers. This program, though, what we would typically be using it for, again, is we need to remove the home sale contingency. We need to get those two mortgages off of someone's debt to income ratio so they now qualify. So like I said, it is a great program. They'll put an offer in on the home. The buyer will buy their new home. They need to sell that previous home because, again, if not, now they're going to have to step in and sell it for them, which is not ideal. But they do work with the sellers and making sure that they're pricing it appropriately. It's another way to keep them with their agent, right? Because the agent is tied to this whole transaction. So it helps keep you guys as agents sticky to them. And it's a lot less expensive. They pay one flat fee to Flyhomes based on the price of their home. It's not like a bridge loan where you've got all these double attorney fees and everything going on and all these high origination fees. So it is less expensive as well typically than a bridge loan. So Great benefit for your buyers. If you have buyers that need help, let me know. We help coordinate with Flyhomes. We're really more concerned with the new purchase. That's where we're stepping on the lending side. Flyhomes is going to handle where they are selling. So the good news is where I'm licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Flyhomes is licensed in all but like 4 states. So even if they're selling a home in Indiana, Flyhomes may be able to help with that piece while I'm handling their loan here in South Carolina. If you have any questions though, or want to see if it applies for your clients to save a deal, especially, think of it if your client is already under contract on the one they're selling, that individual's financing falls through, they needed that to qualify for the next one though. What are you going to do? Flyhomes may be able to step in and help us save that deal. Let me know if you have anybody you want to run scenarios on or anyone you need help with.